I teamed up with a group of awesome creators to bring you the biggest mistakes we all made on YouTube starting out, and all of us have some tips for you so that you don't make the same mistakes. So I'm super excited about this video. I've got a really awesome group of creators and all of us have come up with some of the biggest mistakes that we made starting out on YouTube. This is huge, and this is one of those videos that I've been wanting to create for a while because when I was first starting out on YouTube, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I was doing something right or something wrong, and I wish that I could go back and tell myself to do everything that I did and do it completely opposite. Now, if you're new here to this channel, my name is Jeven Dovey. I do a lot of filmmaking tutorials, camera, product reviews, and I also do some YouTube training so that you guys can be successful here on the platform. Now, I asked each of the creators that you're gonna see in this video for 2 of the biggest mistakes that they made when they first started on YouTube. And one thing before we get into the tips and the mistakes, I just wanna let you know that making mistakes is an important part about YouTube in general. You need to make mistakes and you need to learn from your mistakes to be able to become a better creator. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's not like you're gonna have the perfect video every video that you put out there. What you produce and how you produce it is gonna be constantly evolving. However, by making this video, we're hoping that we could use our experience and help you guys so you don't make the same mistakes that we made when we started. Also in the description, you'll find links to all of these creators. So guys, make sure you head over to their channels after you finish watching this video and check out some of their content, because all the people that I asked to be on this video are awesome creators and they're doing some really cool content. So if you like this content, if you like the content on my channel, then you're definitely gonna love the content on all of their channels. All right, so let's get into some of the biggest mistakes that we made as creators. And the first one is from Gerald Undone.
Hey Jeven, so the 2 biggest mistakes I made when starting my YouTube channel was 1, thinking that variety content would work. When I started out, I was making videos about photography, gaming, vlogs, parodies, sketches, movie reviews, and pop culture rants, and that made it impossible to build an audience who knew what they were subscribed for. To subscribe to a channel like that, you'd have to really enjoy the YouTuber's personality, and some people did, but the growth was very, very slow. There are over 300 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute, and nobody knows who you are, so it's incredibly arrogant to think you can just be a YouTube personality. So instead, be useful. Now, you don't need to occupy only the tiniest niches, but you do need to have a general focus that you can explain in just a few words. If it takes you multiple sentences to describe what you do on YouTube, your potential audience is going to have a hard time finding you. So stick to a subject or theme, and the algorithm will reward you for having subscribers that consistently watch your content, and it'll be much easier for you to appear in search. The second mistake I made was feeling entitled. Once you have a few subscribers and a successful video or 2, you might start to feel like you're owed something. Like your next video should get even more views because you worked even harder on it. Or you see another channel that does something similar to you but not as well in your opinion, and they have a lot of subs, you deserve those subs. It's easy to get bogged down by the numbers and this weird sense of competition that YouTube sometimes evokes, but don't think like that. YouTube is hard, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's important to remember that as you grow, you still have to earn every view and subscriber you get. You aren't entitled to them just because you hit the upload button. Don't be obsessed with the numbers, appreciate the viewership you do have, and keep working on improving your channel. Not because you'll be entitled to more growth if you do, but hopefully because it makes you feel good to work hard on your content.
Now, I just want to piggyback on Gerald's first tip when he was talking about doing a variety channel. So one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started YouTube was not being realistic about the niche that I was going to start creating in. So when I first started, I started my YouTube channel with my wife and we were doing the whole adventure, travel, couple thing on YouTube. So what we wanted to do was create a travel vlog and travel around the world and create content around our travels. Now, when you're coming up with the niche and what you want to do, you need to be realistic with yourself. For us, we weren't going to quit our jobs and go travel the world. Like, that's not something that we were planning on doing. So putting ourselves in this niche wasn't necessarily the best thing to do. We should have done a little bit more research on what it's actually going to take to A, start a YouTube channel, but B, make a travel vlog YouTube channel. We travel here and there, we like creating content around those travels, but when it comes to what you're realistically gonna create and what you can create time and time again throughout however long you're gonna be doing YouTube, you need to understand like what it's gonna take. So having a travel channel, you really have to be invested in travel and you have to be traveling. I mean, that's one of the big things about it. For me, I run a production company here in Los Angeles and I wasn't gonna be traveling all the time. There's definitely gonna be moments where we're gonna go out and travel here and there but it's not something realistic that we can do for an extended period of time. So my big tip for you would be realistic with yourself on what it is that you're actually going to create. If you go down the path of a specific niche, is this something that you actually want to do? Is this something that you're gonna wanna do 5 years from now? And I want you to really think about this, because when you set yourself up in a niche and get going, you're gonna start getting some momentum and you're gonna get followers in that particular niche. And if you have to rebrand yourself or completely change your channel down the road, it's gonna be harder and it's gonna stunt your growth. And this is exactly what happened to me. I had to change from my travel brand to basically my personal brand, which is what it is now. And I had to make a massive switch, and it was a tough thing to do. So do a little research into the niche that you wanna start creating for and see if this is something that you really wanna go after. All right, so let's hear some of the biggest mistakes from Donna Did It.
What is up? My name is Donna from the channel Donna Did It, and I definitely made my fair share of mistakes when I first started out with YouTube. Kind of going with one that's a little bit more of a mental thing and one that's a little bit more technical. The first one is that I put way too much stress on myself about trying to get views and promoting my videos instead of focusing more on actually making better videos. It's easy to look at some of these bigger channels and see that they're getting thousands, tens of thousands, millions of views and be like, well, my video's as good as that. How come it's not getting those views? But that's not really how it works. You have to put out lots of videos. You have to put out really good content. You really have to be out there for a while before that'll happen. It's very few and far between that just get that viral video and skyrocket to that level. So instead of spending all of that extra energy on trying to go on Facebook and promote it and Twitter and Reddit and wherever it is, I really wish that I would have spent more time making more videos and getting better at making good videos, getting more out there, because every time you put a video out, that's another chance for someone to find you. And the second mistake that I made that I wish I could, go back and teach my former self to not make this mistake is to focus more on thumbnails. It seems so simple to me now that the first thing that we see and the reason that we click on something is the thumbnail. We're very visual. If you go into a grocery store and you have a whole aisle full of sugar, you're naturally going to be drawn to the one that looks the best to you. Whatever has the nicest style or whatever you're into, that's the one you're going to be drawn to, and videos are no exception to that. And all of the YouTube gurus tell you this, but it's something that I kind of had to figure out as time went on. And so now I try and be a little bit more aesthetic with my thumbnails so that they're more clickable, but still my style. So those are my beginner mistakes that I made and kind of how you can fix them.
Donna brought up an awesome point. So your thumbnails are super important, and so is your title and your descriptions and all of that. So I highly suggest you put some effort into that element of creating content for your channel, because if someone doesn't click your video, then they're not gonna watch your video. So you need to actually grab people by creating engaging thumbnails. All right, so now let's check out Sydney's biggest mistakes that he's made on YouTube and some of the tips that he has for you.
Okay, here we go. So one of the first mistakes I made when I started my YouTube channel back in 2012 was that I was afraid. I was so afraid that my first video would be so bad that it actually took me 5 years to actually start creating consistent content. I gave in to the fear, I was procrastinating, I made up so many excuses that it prevented me from doing what I love doing most. And if I would have told myself when I first started YouTube just to embrace it, embrace the fear, and just make that first video regardless of how it comes out, man, it would have been a different story. So that was my first mistake, was that I was so afraid that it prevented me from actually doing what I love doing, and that's creating content. Another mistake that I made when I started my YouTube channel was that I was copying Casey Neistat. I mean, I saw his success, I didn't know how to vlog, and so I just pretty much imitated him, even to his editing style, his pacing, his choice of music, and deep down in my gut, I just knew it wasn't right for me. I mean, it worked for him, obviously, but it just wasn't right for me because it wasn't my voice. That was just such a big mistake, because when I made videos imitating Casey, I got no views. I mean, I worked so hard making these videos that I was so frustrated and angry and upset that no one would actually see it. And so one day I finally came to terms with it, and I made I started making videos that resonated with me. And funny enough, it wasn't until those videos that it resonated with other people and I started getting traction and views and subscribers. And that's when I finally took off. And so big lesson learned, you have to be yourself, because if you try to be like another Casey Neistat, you're gonna be another Casey Neistat. And if you wanna stand out on YouTube, you have to be yourself. And so that was a big mistake on my part, is that I didn't embrace who I was, and I just embraced somebody else's persona. Being on YouTube, you have to be yourself.
So I've got a quick tip for you to just add on to everything else that we're talking about here, and that is, don't get stressed about the analytics. Don't always be looking at social blades, seeing your subscriber counter go up. Don't always be looking at how many views you're getting. You can get really lost in the analytics, and it's one of those things that can really take your attention away from the important part, which is creating awesome content. All right, so the next we've got Dave from Kinotika. He's got a few tips for you that's gonna help you with your channel.
Hey guys, I'm Dave Mays, host of a channel called Kinotika. We have over 50,000 subscribers and we review camera gear and equipment and try to make it really entertaining. I'm also the host of a podcast, as you can see behind me. This is actually the Polar Pro set. The podcast is called Golden Hour and we interview creatives and influencers. It just launched today actually, so we're really excited to share that. So check out Golden Hour on Polar Pro's YouTube channel. To answer Jeven's question, which 2 mistakes did you make as a YouTuber? Well, the first mistake that I actually made is not staying focused. I started doing YouTube when I was also doing freelance work, and I think that's a very important thing to do starting out because you can actually pay your bills, but I actually found myself just diving into not having enough time to actually do YouTube. I want to be a good husband and a good father to my son, but I also want to do this YouTube thing. So I actually started saying no to a lot of freelance work that was maybe not paying at the rate that I wanted. And I was able to figure out my budget to live off of a lower income to build my YouTube channel. At this point, it's kind of balanced out the other way to where I'm actually making enough money now to be a full-time YouTuber and not have to worry about freelance. So if you want to be a YouTuber, then consider cutting back some of your freelance work, maybe some of the things that you don't have to take, that you kind of feel obligated to take because you've worked with them in the past and you're giving them a discounted rate because they're a friend. Start cutting those things out of your life so that you have more time to focus on the things that you actually want to do, like being a YouTuber. And the second big mistake that I made as a YouTuber was doing this alone. I think one of the most important things as a YouTuber is finding other people who do the same type of content as you on YouTube and becoming their friends. And I'm not talking about reaching out to Casey Neistat or Peter McKinnon cold. I mean, you can do that and maybe they'll respond, but really people who are kind of at the same level as you that you can just kind of partner with and grow together with. I think it's really important because as a YouTuber, you sometimes find yourself in a really lonely place. You're shooting videos by yourself, you're editing them by yourself, and oftentimes it's really lonely. So I found it to be really valuable to reach out to fellow YouTubers who are similar to me, like Jeven, who asked me to be in this video. And it really helps you as a creator because you're able to lean on them when you're struggling. You can ask them questions about the algorithm or which thumbnail you think is better. It's just a really great way to grow as a YouTuber, reach out to other people similar to you, and they don't have to live in your city. You can do this over the internet. You can do this over Twitter, over Instagram DMs. It's not something that you have to do in a physical location, although moving to Los Angeles helps a lot.
All right, so I've got another quick tip for you, and that is you need to just enjoy the process of creating content. You need to stop worrying about the analytics so much. I kind of talked about this earlier, but you need to just enjoy the fact that you're creating content and this is something that you enjoy doing. If you get wrapped up too much in the analytics and all the stuff that goes into, getting your videos higher in the ranking system, you kind of forget about the fact that we're here just creating awesome content. So never walk away from your creativity and always be focused on creating awesome content rather than always thinking about analytics and data and all that stuff. All right, so I've got a couple more tips from you from Josh from Make Art Now and some of his biggest mistakes that he made when he started his YouTube.
Yo, Josh, yo. Okay, 2 mistakes when I first started out. Oh boy, how much time you got? All right, so it took me a full year to shoot and edit my very first episode, and then I scrapped it. I ended up reshooting and re-editing and releasing that one. I wasted so much time. I was so crippled by the fear of judgment and rejection that I lost sight of my work ethic, which is experience makes you better. I could have started a whole year earlier if I just released that first one. I don't know, maybe I'll release it sometime. It'd be a good story. If you guys want a really inspiring message, go watch Ira Glass, The Creative Process. Watch that about 10 times and let that sink in. All right, second big mistake. Trying to predict what subscribers want. I've wasted so much time in the very beginning, and the truth is, trends come and go. So what works for some YouTubers yesterday won't work for you today. And that's just the truth of any industry that we're in. Trends evolve. So in the end, you just have to do stuff that you want to do, right? This is long game stuff. You don't want to get burned out doing product videos. You want to do stuff that artistically turns you on, that fills the bucket, that just gives you juice, and you will attract your kind of subscribers. I would much rather have 100,000 of my hardcore subscribers than 1 million of like take it or leave it subscribers, just kind of pick them up from here or there. You want people that are in your corner because they will follow you anywhere. Whatever career you go in, they will follow you. And the only way to do that is by doing the things that you love and making that the light of your channel. Anyway, go make some art.
Josh, thanks for those awesome tips. Guys, I got one more major tip for you, and that is not worry so much about always sticking to your schedule and having the pressure of always having to upload. Things happen in your life, and if you miss an upload, it's not the biggest deal in the world. When I first started creating content on this platform, I always felt like I needed to upload more and upload more and upload more, and if I didn't get something out every few days, I felt like I was gonna miss out and lose all my momentum on YouTube. Well, that's not the case. Yes, it's important to give yourself a schedule, but don't let it take over your life. If you have things come up or you're just not feeling very creative, then don't worry about missing a video here and there. It's not gonna be that big a deal in the world. And one of the tips I have for you is just communicate with your audience. So whether that's through Twitter, Instagram, your community tab, just tell your viewers what's going on. You could even just create a quick update video where you're talking to your audience. Communication is key. And so you need to actively engage with your audience. You need to comment to them, you need to talk to them, you need to tell them what's going on, and you just need to be a person. Take the pressure off to always be creating content and always be forced to get something out. Your content is gonna suffer because if you force yourself to just put stuff out, it's not gonna be very good. And then I got one more bonus tip for you. It's actually something that Dave was talking about. And one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started out was not collaborating with other YouTubers. Now there's a few reasons why you wanna collaborate. Number one is that it's gonna grow your channel and you're gonna reach new audiences. But number two, and more important than growing your channel, is that you're gonna meet really awesome creators doing some really cool stuff on this platform. The key is just wanting to work with other creators because you're gonna learn from each other, you're gonna have awesome experiences, and it's just gonna be a ton of fun. So that's one thing I wish I could tell myself going back years ago when I first started my YouTube channel, is start reaching out to other creators, start joining in the conversation, and start being a part of the community because it is such an awesome group of people. All right, guys, that is it. Those are our biggest mistakes that we made when we first started our YouTube channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts about these mistakes and these tips down below in the comments. So if there's any mistakes that you made when you first started your YouTube, please leave them down in the comments because let's help each other be successful YouTubers and be a part of this community. And also make sure you head over to all the different channels that were a part of this video because they are awesome creators doing some really cool things. Guys, if you're new here to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of awesome filmmaking tutorials, camera reviews, some YouTube training stuff. Also, I have the creatorfilmschool.com, which is my nuts to bolts, everything you need to know to have a career as a creator. And guys, I'll put a link down below in the description so you can check that out. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. And guys, that's it. I'll see you on the next one.